Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Well, this episode was definitely something. Okay, the stuff with Sam. It's it's very weird watching when you know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if this is going to be her last scene or sometime this week is tomorrow's going to be her last scene. But I guess in a sense, I'm kind of disappointed if it goes the way I thought it was going to go. If it goes the way I think it's going to go. Sam has always been the Letty to like Fast and the Furious, right? And I'm not saying that, this isn't brave in her own right to sit there and give up a piece of your body to save somebody else. Not a lot of people would actually do that. And I guess it's kind of nice, like, okay, so if something, let's say, happens in surgery, she doesn't make it, at least her sacrifice, you know, would be good for Lulu and everything. But I guess I would expect her, I would want her to go out in a blaze of glory. After 20 something years of being on this show, it's somewhat of a letdown in hindsight. Now, most of the stuff is people pretty much saying goodbye to her. Carly Smith there thanking her for sacrificing, a piece of her liver to save her cousin and everything, and just giving her compliments and everything, and which is fine because they've come a long way. They've literally come a long way from them hating each other to them being somewhat besties. So it's kind of fitting for her to sit there and say goodbye. Her kids get to say the goodbye to her. Rocco gets to thank her. Dante gets to sit there and kiss her one last time. And, Alexis gets to sit there and tell her how brave she is. But it kind of sucks in a sense because, the last scenes were her sisters, which pretty much them acting like a pair of jackasses and not getting a proper goodbye to her. So that sucks. And, again, if she doesn't make it in surgery, there's going to be a huge amount of regret that both of them are going to have to sit there and carry with them moving forward. Rick goes to Heather and tells her that she's free. And now the thing is about her finding a job and her having a place to stay. Because, yeah, she can wind up getting that settlement money, but it's going to take a while. So she needs a place now. They go through the list of everyone that's clearly going to sit there and say no to her. And it lands on Liz. Liz calls, I'm sorry. Heather calls Liz. And is like, hey, listen, I need a place to stay. Could you sit there and do this for me, for Franco and everything? And I think between that and Rick's not there saying, Rick goes there and Rick is like, hey, listen, I can do something to help you out. I can sit there and stay with you, for just, I don't want you to be there with Heather and the boys by herself, so, I'll stay with you. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's showing that, in a sense, Rick is not there trying to be a slime ball, getting back together with her by a way of, I'll sit there and protect you. So it's nice to sit there and see outside shots of, the actors and everything like that. And Liz does go and pick her up, and so does Steve. Now, Steve, goes to visit Curtis. And long story short, Curtis is like, yo, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to sit there and when you leave town, You take Mom Dukes with you. A couple of things that he said that I felt was a little out of pocket. And I understand that he wants to sit there and protect Trina and everything like that. But for him to sit there and say, Heather is your problem, that's your responsibility, and if she does something here, then you're at fault, is just insane. It's literally insane. That's like Snoop is saying if Hat Daddy decides to spaz out on people, oh, well, that's your fault. No, that's, you want to sit there and blame somebody. How about you sit there and start at the top, aka Laura? But he's like, listen, I'll give you money and stuff like that until you put a land back on your feet. And he's like, okay, that's option one. Option two is going to be a lot less pleasant for Heather if you don't take me up on option one. A lot of people in my chat was saying, well, maybe he'll sit there and get Miss Wu to kind of, handle things. Don't get it twisted. He did go to her before when he needed a favor, which turned out to be so disappointing, and it just made him more in debt of her. Now, is the actress coming back? Who the hell knows? Um, after I was kind of forgot his name for a minute. So Brad, gives a pastry to Lucas before surgery because that's kind of like his thing or whatever he likes to have. And Lucas sees it and he realizes it comes from Brad, and he's like, "Yo, listen, boundaries. I told you when I got back, like, ain't nothing happening between us. So like, I work here, you work here. Let's not start crossing lines and stuff." There's a point where his towel falls off, and he's like, "Oh, you have a mole there, so you might want to sit there and get that checked out." And he leaves. They run into each other again at some point, and Lucas asks Brad, did you manipulate the situation? Did you manipulate your way back into get to the hospital? And Brad is like, I thought, he was talking about boundaries. So like, which is it? You want to know my business, or you want to sit there and just kind of work and not really say anything to each other? He does admit that he did sit there and use Brit's name to get into the door because he needed a job, But he's not there saying, hey, listen, I'm trying. Now, one of my favorite parts of this episode, we all know where this is going. So Portia and Liz are talking, and after Liz is like, listen, if you need anything from me, I got you, whatever. And Portia's like, listen, we got a big day right now, and I'm not letting that nonsense with Heather kind of get in the way of that. Plus, I got Curtis and they're handling that. They're talking, and Brad is like, hey, listen, I'm gonna knock off early because I want to go to a game with a friend, and that's cool, right? I mean, you're not gonna have a problem with that, right, Portia? And I'm sitting there like, yeah, Portia, what do you gotta say about that? Because Liz is like, wait, you're knocking off early, aren't you on probation? I mean, so kind of weird for you to be just leaving so early. Which in all reality, it's not like he's leaving the lab unattended. He does actually have someone. So even if Portia didn't have that damning evidence over her head, if she was to sit there and say something, it would be like, okay, that's a little out of pocket. But of course, Portia was like, oh no, that's fine. You can go and do it. Have fun. Yeah. Yeah. You damn right. You better sit there and say have fun. Um, and Liz just kind of looks like, okay, I didn't expect that. Portia does get some good news towards the end. Kurt's like, hey, listen, I took care of it. Steve's gonna, handle the situation. So, we all good. I don't think that Steve is gonna handle the situation. I think that Heather's still gonna be a problem, and Kurt's just sitting there, kind of giving her false hope. Or, I guess they have to sit there and go with option B. Isaiah's in the episode. He doesn't really do much. He does sit there and tell Laura, just have some realistic expectations, which is something he should have probably did the first time around when he thought he was God's gift to medicine and promised those other people, oh no, this surgery is going to go fine. And like I said, towards the end, you have pretty much everyone sitting there saying thank you to Sam and he loved her and everything like that as this send off. I guess it could have been worse. It'll do, right? It'll do. But after 20 something years of her being on the show, it falls short of my expectations. Um, so Carly gets a call from Jack, and Jack is like, I need to see you. But, Carly's like, I want to sit there and do this first. And so she goes in there to say, goodbye to Sam and everything, and, thank you and everything. But Brendan is not joking. He's like, no, I need you to sit there and see you. Now, he needs information from Jason, and Jason's not really being forthcoming. So when he does go there, he does sit there and talk to Carly. He's like, I need you to sit there and convince Jason to give me more information because this is serious. Like, I did that whole thing for you, and now it's practically biting me in the ass. I need you to come through. And Carly's like, why did you help me the first time? And I'm like, wait. That's your takeaway from him sitting there saying, like, it's time to collect? So they go into this whole other conversation, and he doesn't even really give her an answer. But, she does sit there and come through and call Jason to, give him the whole story. Now, before Jason does get there, he's with Sonny. And, Sonny wants to think and update more on the time with Africa, and specifically Holly, the diamonds and everything like that. So now he knows that those diamonds was taken away, from this guy named Jen Sitwell. And I'm kind of looking at it, and granted, he's like, these things are like worth like millions of dollars and stuff like that. So he's like, it's worth the risk. But I'm like, is it? I mean, you're borrowing unnecessary trouble. And I get it. Maybe you want to sit there and do it to help out Holly, because in a sense, it's kind of helping out Luke. But it seems like he's doing this more for money. And I'm like, you're not lacking in that department. You are, I'm saying? You're taking on more trouble than it's worth just for some extra millions, which is like, bro, you practically can wipe your ass with $100 bills to use as toilet paper. Like, it's kind of unnecessary at that point. I remember way back when he was working for Pikeman, and they were just throwing money at him to, get rid of practically like almost nuclear bombs, pretty much. He's like, oh, I don't really care about the money and stuff like that. This is too much trouble. But I'm like, you don't even know this guy. And you seem like you want to do this more for the money than anything else, but you act like the money wasn't really that much important before. So where's this risk assessment? And in reality, why isn't Jason being like, I don't know if this is a good idea for us to be moving these diamonds? You know? But he doesn't really get a chance to say too much, or he really doesn't say too much, and then he gets a call from Carly. And when he does get down to see Brenan, he's convinced by Carly to give more information. So he does, and he's like, he does sit there and say, yeah, Holly, came back with some diamonds and stuff like that. So he does give a little bit more information, but I could have swore the information that he gave Brendan was stuff that he already knew, you know. But I guess he need to confirm it now. So, okay. I feel like that's more or less pretty much about it. There was there was a couple of scenes I didn't really sit there and talk about, like the scene with Alexis, Danny, and Scout. This episode felt more filler than anything else, and it felt like there could have been other stuff that was greater, but they had to deal with the Sam stuff, the Sam, leaving the show. So that's another part that took up like the other 50% of the episode. And I felt like if Sam was not leaving the show, I felt like if Kelly Monica was not leaving the show, then this part would have played out much different. So in a sense, we could have got probably a better episode than we did, but yeah, it is what it is. So it wasn't a terrible episode, but it definitely was a filler one. Like you could just read the synopsis on any website or just, watch my video. Or watch Rock TV's video and just get the gist of the episode. Now, that's how you're going to probably do it. If there's more stuff that you want to sit there and think I didn't talk about, just talk about it in the comment section. Anything that I left out, talk about it. Let me know. Anyway, that's going to be about it. If I missed anything, write in the comment section. Otherwise, I will sit there and see you in the next video.